Hello there, my fellow Cybertronians. This is the Ginger Transformer podcast. Mega Ginge here. I'm not gonna lie, I've just started shaving my head, hence the lack of gingerness. Might decide to start growing the goatee back out though, because it's only so many times your own child can call you an egg before you just start going, I need hair somewhere. But I really like the feel of a lack of hair here, you know, less management or mismanagement in my case. So yeah, I might just next video I might have a goatee, basically is what I'm saying. Welcome back to the third part of the Prime Wars trilogy. We're getting straight into Power of the Primes, the last part. For anyone that's ever watched any sort of Scrooged adaptation, you should know what this means. Optimus Prime was dead to begin with. So obviously he died at the end of the last season again. So yeah, really important to remember that even though Peter Cullen is back as Optimus Prime, he's basically in it. And you know what? No spoilers if you haven't seen it for some reason. But he is back. He is the voice of Optimus Prime. Also returning as Will Wheaton as Perceptor, Judd Nelson as at this point Rodimus Kron slash Rodimus Unicronus, and then kinda Hot Rod and Mark Hamill returning to make his proper debut as Megatronus Prime, aka the Fallen. He's a good voice actor, him. And if you think I'm giving too much credit for one role, um, Batman, the 90s animated series, he was the Joker. Very talented man, that man. Joining them, and this was quite good. I was happy here with this, the voice cast. Greg Berger returns to voice Grimlock. I was overjoyed about that. It's like we have another, just another G1 voice, you know? We have Jamie King as Solus Prime, Samoa Joe as Predaking, and last but not least, Hellboy himself, Ron Perlman, Ron fucking Perlman, as Optimus Primal slash Optimal Optimus. Ha! Now, I'm not going to lie, Gary Chalk is still my favourite voice actor for Optimal because he was the OG. Ron Perlman, he's really good at the voice, you know. And you know what? He's a dude's a great actor. Can't say enough good things about him. And not just Hellboy, though I'm not gonna lie, it's one of my favourite films. We have Megatronus, who at this point is taking the Matrix and the Enigma of Combination and buggered off to points unknown. Yeah. And we see that he seems to be receiving orders, or at least he seems to be behind everything. Sorry, he's giving the orders. Stuff that Overlord's doing, for example, he seems to be behind it. You see a scene where Megatronus is, he's wading through like the a swamp, or at least a Cybertronian swamp, looking for the Requiem blaster, and it kind of flashes back to when he's giving Overlord orders and telling him where to find the Matrix of Chaos, and it's the only time we really see a flashback to like the head of Unicron, So pre blown up, no post blown up, sorry, post blown up. So yeah, he's in love with Solus, but I thought if we're all children of Primus, like they aren't. I mean, the rest of them get a bye, right? But if you're a direct descendant of Primus, doesn't that make her your sister? There's a question for you. All right. Victorion, you see her, Windblade, Perceptor, and Megatron heading through this swamp, looking for the Requiem Blaster. Just like Megatron's was, Megatron's couldn't find it. But it shows Victorion, who took battle damage in Titan's Return, it has not been fixed. She's lost an arm. So one of her combiner parts. It's not as if we saw them individually, really, anyway. So and they run into, of course, the Dinobots. So, yeah, we have Grimlock and Greg Berger, the amazing Greg Berger, as the voice. We have the other Dinobots as well. Sludge, Slag, not Bloody Slug, you know my feelings on this by now. Swoop and Snarl. And then we have the Dino Combiner. I can never remember how it's pronounced. Is it Vulcanus, Vulcanus, Vulcanius? I don't know. Basically, a Dinobot Combiner. Something that is fucking dangerous and deadly. And who thought that was a good idea? And then, eventually, because Megatron's leading them, Grimlock assumes that they're all traitors and the Dinobots attack, and then become this thing and continue to attack after swatting Megatron flying across this swampland they're in. So basically, it's Victorion, Windblade, and Perceptor against the Dinobots. Didn't really go well, does it? You go back to Cybertron, you see Overlord and Rodimus Kron kill Menasor, Computron, and Devastator, which I think was crap. I mean, just with the ease they were taken out. Well, they're trying to pound the information out of them. Where's Megatron? Overlord's really got hard on for the guy. Rodimus Prime doesn't care. He just, is just like, I'm going to kill him if you don't tell me. I'm not telling you. You think I'm John? Dead. Okay, there's one more to go. You want him to die as well? No, 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 I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Really? Will you? Dead. I said, I'll tell you. Tells him, okay, you two dead. And it's like, what the hell, man? Even Overlord's sitting going, you know what? I like your style. I like your style. He's going about killing everyone. I like your style. Let's go. Let's go find them for some bloody reason. Yeah, that's about what I'm talking about. Is Overlord is Megatron's bitch, basically. And it's where you have the Unicron's head flashback. But let's face it, where else was a matrix of chaos coming from? Of course it's going to come from Unicron. Our matrix is basically the essence of Primus, so, it makes sense. But Megatron finds the Requiem Blaster eventually after being separated from the others. The others now being hunted not just by this Dino Combiner, but Predaking as well, I should add. But when he finds the blaster, he also finds his guardian, and the guardian would be none other than Optimus Prime. No relation. While this is all happening, the others are being chased now by two combiners. For some reason, the Dino Combiner and Predaking don't just instantly start knocking lumps out of each other. I mean, there's got to be animosity. But eventually they do. But most of that rest of the episode is Victorion running, along with Windblade and along with Perceptor, who is being cradled by Victorion's one good arm, going, "I will protect you," blah blah blah. But you can't protect yourself. Well, that's all that's happening, right? Woof. Yeah. Eventually, they come across Megatron, who has the Requiem Blaster at this point, and the Guardian standing kind of like behind them. And yeah, it's like, yeah. Use combiners, you might want to leave now. Hop it. Go away. Predaking's after the Enigma, by the way. I don't know why it's never mentioned. I don't know if he is a bitch of Overlord or Unicron. He doesn't seem to be. He seems to just want it for himself. Why? I don't know. He's already the combiner. Without other combiners, it's not going to make him any more powerful. But yeah, so eventually the Dinobot combiner decombines. It's the second combiner we see in individual parts. And Predaking just buggers off after he's threatened with a Requiem Blaster by Megatron, after saying, "You don't tell me what you do anymore." Nah, piss off, big guy. Grimlock then just decides, right, I'm going to join them on this little quest thing. I think he's just doing it to keep an eye on Megatron, if I'm completely honest. We eventually find Rodimus Kron and Overlord trudging through this swamp, not knowing what to do next. Because, it's like, okay, Megatron will be here. He's not here. What the hell do we do now? Rodimus Kron clicks to the fact they're being watched, and both of them proceed to pound the living crap out of the Dinobots. And Rodimus Kron, earning a place of hatred in everyone's hearts, kills Sludge. Oh god, Sludge is one of the nicer Dinobots because he was, let's be honest, thick as pig shit. And he brutally kills him after saying, "Yeah, sure. You tell us what we need to know and we'll let you go." No, he kills him after pounding them all. The Dinobots are that badly injured, they can barely move towards him, and you can just hear one of them going, "Sludge, Sludge," and he's obviously, he's hurting, he's hurting and he's upset. His friend's just been fucking brutally murdered, Cool. So obviously Grimlock doesn't know this happened. Well, that's has been happening. Megatron and the others have found this as basically a vault, like an archive with a lot of information dating back God knows how long ago. I mean, you'd think if this, once again, from previous videos, this is G1 adjacent, not proper G1. If it had been proper G1, Daniel and really could have went there to find out Ultra Magnus' birthday. Apparently there was a lot of information there. So much so that eventually when a battle happens and it's all destroyed, only a fragment of it's been downloaded, and that pisses Perceptor off because he likes that kind of stuff. Oh yeah, sorry. The battle at least is destruction. Overlord and Rodimus Kron find everybody and then decide to beat the living hell out of everyone. Overlord basically saying, "They're all yours. Megatron is mine." This is after, and once again, as I said, I think I said this a couple of videos ago, Victorion, self-centered, smug, assured bitch that she is, guess what's coming to her? Yeah, she gets what's coming to her. I don't know what one of them ripped her head off. Overlord or Rodimus Kron rips her head off. They're like, bye, Victorion's dead. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a little voice in me going, yay, because like, I don't know, none of the other ones, none of the other commanders were high and mighty, They didn't think they were better than anyone else. So, she dead. Good. Let battle commence. Because if she gone, you're all screwed. And it pretty much does, yeah. It does go that way. Megatron's time as Galvatron is mentioned. This is where it's mentioned where he was Galvatron. It's never explained why he's back to Megatron. What happened to that? Who knows? But it's just the fact that yes, he's now Megatron again for some reason. Now, he just didn't like the purple look and decided, construct the cons, rebuild. I'll original body, please. I don't know. It's never mentioned. Just like how Wheeljack and Ratchet are mentioned in the present tense. Overlord is killed by Megatron. Megatron uses a Requiem blaster. And, oh, Jesus. That is a very powerful weapon. I mean, you've seen a flashback earlier. Megatron is accidentally killing Solus Prime, which is why he's Prime is doing everything he's doing. Yes, the power of love. Yeah, that kind of crap. He basically tears a. It's not planet wise, it's not a massive chunk out of the planet, but it's like tears a ball, and all of a sudden there's this big straight bit going out of the planet. We Megatron used the Requiem blaster, it's a big gash, you know. But unfortunately, at that point, Megatron turns up and gets the blaster. Whoops. Ah well, there's not as many of them can actually fight him anyway because demigod status or whatever it is. So basically, at that point, it's Megatron versus everyone that's left. He bitch slaps him and goes away to complete his evil plans because now he has all three parts. His evil plans to bring back Solus to life. To do this, he will drain every living spark from pretty much every Cybertronian still alive across the universe. It's like genocide to bring back one person off of the power of love. Huh? After it turns out he's behind everything, Rodimus Kron shows up. I should explain they are now in some sort of weird underground chamber, which was Solus, apparently, as like a well of all sparks or something. And yeah, he uses the Matrix is here and the Enigma's here and the Vectron Blaster's in the middle, and they all work in conjunction. And that way they can take all the sparks and they can kill everyone and bring her back. There's some sort of like moving maze thing, like the one you get in Wrath of the Titans. It's a constantly moving maze to the heart of Tartarus. This is to the heart of the well of sort of Allspark or whatever the hell it is. You've got Megatron, Grimlock, Perceptor, and Windblade making their way through, along with Optimus Primal, who decided not to abandon them at the last minute during the previous fight and tag along. Basically, Megatron starts firing orders. User on him. User on that. I'm heading that way. Like, can you give us a little bit more information? He's like, no, get it fucking in. So you've got three of them heading for Megatron. Saying that enough. One, I think it's Perceptor trying to figure out how to dismantle the equipment, and Megatron just saunters over to the pool and starts having a conversation with the dead. Yeah, yeah. At this point, Rodimus Kron shows up, and he is upgraded to Rodimus Unicronus. At least that's the name the toys given. So I'm just calling him Rodimus Unicronus from that point forth. And his goal at this point is no longer to help, but to hinder. Because what's his number one priority? What's anyone who serves Unicron's number one priority when the Matrix is in view? Destroy it at all costs. Don't know, this buys him a bit of time because it's Rodimus Unicronus versus Megatronus, These two are as powerful as each other. And it gives everyone else time to do what the hell they're doing. Megatron's talking to Solson saying, listen, do you know what he's doing? Perceptor's working on the equipment, and the other three are just kind of like standing back, that kind of, yeah, we're good. We're just, kill each other. Predaking eventually does show up, which is great for the 2 seconds he lasts against Megatronus before he loses his head. There's a lot of beheadings in this. But one of my favourite parts of this is Optimus Primal gets a hold of the Matrix and he becomes Optimal Optimus. And then Megatron proceeds to punch the crap out of him for like 5 minutes straight because for some reason he's just lying there taking it. I don't know why. But when he eventually decides to go enough, boom, Megatron just goes flying. I think it was mostly because he was unprepared for it, This guy's now got the power of the Matrix coursing through his veins. This machine for Solus Prime to bring her back is no longer working. Everyone's starting to just go left, right, and centre here. There's a lot of stuff to keep up with. But at the end, it's Optimal Optimus versus Rodimus Unicronus, who now, because he possesses the Matrix, his focus is away from Megatronus and is went woof over here. So that's not so good. Of course, like I said, you had the Megatronus, who was already busy with Predaking at this point. Not for long, but he was, it was there for long enough. It was enough to give him a shot, You see the really big ghost of Solus. Eventually, she kind of like realizes everything that's going on. and realizes that Megatronus has went too far, and kind of just kills him. You know, he's like, "I want to bring you back. You're my love." Blah blah blah. She's like, I know, dead. Ungrateful bitch. Hey, guy just gave us three series of stuff, all because he was, annoyed he killed you because he lost his love and all that kind of stuff. It always comes back to that crap in cartoons these days. It can't just be he's just there because he wants to kill everyone because he can. I miss a simple villain. This got me. Rodimus Jr. transforms back into Hot Rod because the Matrix is removed. The Matrix makes a beeline for Megatron, our Megatron, because Megatron is gone at this point, and it starts to try to take him over again. Because once Unicron's puppet, always Unicron's puppet, and he did have time as Galvatron. Megatron ends up telling Optimal Optimus, well, he said earlier that he would die for Cybertron. That wasn't bullshit. Kill me now. He is nobody's slave. He belongs to nobody. A few chosen lines from the original movie, and you just get on with it. Stop talking. Do it. Kill me now. Optimus, he bids him farewell. I was like, goodbye, Megatron. He's honoring his sacrifice. Megatron he tells me to kill him to stop something worse from happening. And he does. He fires a Requiem blaster. We've seen what this can do at this point blank, and it was a big flash of light. Now, nothing's been destroyed. Like the chamber's still intact. None of them are scattered bits and pieces as we saw previous. Perceptor starts looking about very quickly and he says, everyone's like, Megatron's gone, he's dead. And Perceptor's like, we don't know what the Matrix of Chaos is like. Obviously, absorbed pretty much all of the blast, or do you see evidence of it? But from what you can see, he's in his microscope mode here and he's looking about. He's like, but from what I can see here, there was no evidence that Megatron was ever here. I choose to take it as Megatron sacrificed himself. There will be people out there that say he's not dead. He's been maybe displaced. I don't know. Maybe he's Galvatron again. But I think that kind of breaks you a bit, when Megatron, of all people, sacrifices himself for the greater good. Even Grimlock was confused. What, he good now? Now we have to die? Even the Dinobot got it. Now, I've wrote this as a specific. The Return of Optimus Prime, part God knows how many at this point as well. The only Autobot, the only Cybertronian at this point to be resurrected from the Well of Allsparks because he had a connection to the Matrix. Everyone else, he regrets to inform. This is when Peter Cullen, you finally get about Peter Cullen, Rock Poison Optimus Prime. He regrets to tell everyone that, yeah, I'm the only one that's coming back. Everyone else is dead. And that's a big list that by the end of the three series. We're not seeing them again. They're all dead. They're all gone. And a few of them are quite about it. They're upset about it. Sure, Grimlock finds out, but Sludge will a little bit more. There's a montage at the end of it. It's Optimus Prime. He's talking to Optimal Optimus. Optimal Optimus, who's like, so what do we do with the Matrix situation? And Prime's like, listen, it's yours. It chose you. I'll be happy to be here as a voice of guidance to advise you, but it's yours. And he asks, so what happens to everyone else? So Windblade is brushing up on her city speaker skills. Grimlock returned to the swamp with the other Dinobots, where they all mourn the loss of Sludge. Just those words are making me upset because, like I said, he was one of the good ones, He was one of the good ones. Hot Rod is still in repairs after everything he's been through. Perceptor's now studying all the relics, separately, very carefully, And that's how they kind of walk off into this kind of like, they're in a shuttle bay for some reason. They walk off into this new future, blah, blah, blah. And then the camera pans back, woof, they'll always be here. And so will I. And it's the ghost of Starscream in a dark corner. And it's like, end. You don't leave us hanging like that, motherfuckers. But to be fair, you kind of do it twice in this series at the end of War for Cybertron as well. But that's for the next time. That's the next three parts of the podcast it will be Siege, Earthrise, and Kingdom, one after the other. Whew. My God, I can talk. And hopefully, like I said, next time I'll have a bit of gingerness to go with the mega ginge, But until then, roll out, stay safe, my fellow Cybertronians, and I'll see you next time.